the suitcase. And the reason I want to start out with this one, and my plan with this channel is to just do a live and show you how I'm creating peace and hope that you will join me, at least through the summer. This is my plan because through the summer is my busiest time of the year, and I am booking it all summer long, and I don't really have a lot of time to be editing video. So I'm practicing. I need to talk to the camera anyway. Thank you so much for being here. So before we get started, could I ask you to take a deep breath with me and add your energy to this beautiful day? I'm going to do just a little quick tap. This already started, and this is with my stencil of peace. And if you don't know about this project, it probably would be a good idea to go back and watch another video. But what I'm doing is I'm recommending that the world, because we don't want to just start small, I'm recommending that the world adopt a new peace symbol. And I guess I could talk to you about that first. It's a beautiful symbol of all those things, and I think it's well worth our time to consider creating it and seeing if you find a difference in how you feel. So I've got a bunch of gold paint, and I thought that this suitcase, which is actually an old sewing machine case, would look pretty good with some gold paint on it. And so I'm going to attempt here to create peace in the theme of a gold plated, I don't know, something. Anyway, I've never painted on a suitcase like this. It's got cool texture. I'm interested in what might happen, and I thought that you might enjoy watching it too. So thanks for coming along. Now we're going to talk about presence, because art is a magical thing and brings you into presence. And presence, for those of you who don't understand it or haven't really ever heard of that before, is the act of being aware of your surroundings and in the present moment. So instead of being consumed in your head all the time by the worry and the woe that you perceive to be more important than this moment that you're in right now, presence is being in communion with God, in my opinion, because the God within each of us is wanting us to hear that voice inside us, that voice that says everything will be okay. That voice that says, I got you, there's a plan, and you're on it, and you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Which is really kind of how I feel in the present moment most of the time. And I don't worry about all of the horrible things in the world, because those things aren't necessarily mine to solve. And while they are tragic, and I feel horrible for the people who are suffering, the only thing that I can do is bring awareness to a desire to be a better version of ourselves in our future, and hope that through that awareness we find the solutions to the problems that plague us. I can't take on all the problems of the world at once. I can only do what I can do, and my job at this present moment is to bring awareness to the fact that we are not creating peace, and we are not finding peace within, and we are not working towards solutions. And the one thing that I do well is getting people to do art. So I'm attempting to use my superpower. I guess I didn't introduce myself. My superpower is getting people to do art. And that's a pretty great superpower. So my solution to our current problems is to get people to do more art. And that might sound a little bit crazy and wackadoodle, but the truth of the matter is that art helps rewire your brain. It brings you into the present moment. It delights the God within you who is desiring, the creator is desiring to create with you, with your unique signature that is you. That's why you feel better when you do art. Because the God within you got to create something. And yeah, imagine that the God within you is the creator of all things. But the one thing that God has not created is art with you. Or maybe you have created art, or it's been a long time. Either way, every time the God within you gets to create art, I believe it's delighted. It, not he, not she. How anyone can say one way or another, I'm not quite sure. I would never be so bold. I view God as the energy of life, the energy that forces the cell to divide, the curiosity of what could be. That is God, always seeking to level up, to become more. My gold isn't covering very well. We might have to put 2 coats on. Such is life. I did have to water it down quite a bit because it had dried out. And I'm reluctant to just throw acrylic paint away. Even if it gets old, I really try to rehab it and force it to abide by my wishes. Anyway, presence. Presence is being in communion with God, as I said before. It's listening to the voice within and listening to the voice within. How often do we listen to the voice within? Do we sit in meditation, seeking after that voice? Where are you, voice? Get out of my head, thoughts. Get out of my head, thoughts. We're often so on a rat race in our own head with our own thoughts that we completely miss what's in front of us. I mean, how often do we walk into a room and we can't remember why we were there? It's because we were so in our head about whatever it was before we walked into that room that we've forgotten ourselves. I once said to a beautiful medicine man, I lose my keys all the time. What can I do to not lose my keys? And he said, be present, Zini. Be present. It can help you not lose your keys. It can help you turn the right way in a dark alley and avert danger. It can align everything in your life to perfection, presence. It's not some hokey thing. It's actually God inside you helping you be the best version of yourself that you can be, because you're hanging out with God all the time. You're in the present moment. In the present moment. In the present moment requires that you let go of a lot of judgment, because if you don't, you're thinking over the present moment all the time. You're always assessing. Am I supposed to like this person? Do they like me? Am I enough? Can they see right through me and know that I'm nervous as hell? YouTube will do that. It'll pull you right out of the present moment, let me tell you. That and the technical aspect of it all. But we're hanging in there. We're staying in the present moment, and we're trying to run a YouTube channel. YouTube. Whew. Presence. Art helps you be in the present moment because it consumes you. Just watching how the paint flows off the brush is such a delight. It just, how does it bump across this textured field here? You know, I could be in my head right now and I could be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm live on YouTube painting and this thing could be terrible. But instead I'm going to trust in the present moment, and I'm not going to get this done, and I'm not going to keep you here. I think everybody's got more to do, and if you shut this video off and go outside, I would be even more happy for you. But in case you're looking to unwind and hear about presence and how art can help you, thank you. This paint's drying really weird on this suitcase. Presence. I'm kind of consumed in my present moment, to be honest. Painting transformed me. I found the present moment through painting, and after that, everything changed in my life. Happenstance brought me to Eckhart Tolle, and I had never heard of the present moment. I had never really even questioned too much about my faith, except to think that it seemed judgmental, and I was saddened by the inequality of the spirit in the faith. I felt as though women were not able to expand and be the best versions of themselves in the version of the faith that I was participating in. And I always felt as though I could not love Jesus the way that other people had spoke about it, and I always felt that there was something very unusual. However, I believed 100% that God, I knew there was, I could sense there was some kind of, now I believe it's to be a unifying field. It's a unifying field that's within each of us. It's the same within me as it is within you. But I believe that this unifying field knew better how to run my life than I did. And so, while some people are very focused on manifestation and exactly dialing in what you desire and focusing on that, while I believe that that is a worthwhile and interesting thing to do, I'm not entirely sure that I even know what's best for me, and that I would rather open up the concept that the unifying field knows better than me. The all-knowing unifying field of God knows better than me what I need. And therefore, I am totally willing to give up the control and see what comes my way. And having said that, then, of course, I'm the artist who's seeking to get people to reimagine peace and getting the entire world to adopt a new peace symbol. So, how I get there, I don't exactly have a solid plan, but we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. We'll see which direction we go and how this thing ends up blossoming on its own, which I absolutely, ruler, absolutely believe it will happen. Ooh, this is a nicer gold, isn't it? So, I've told you why we need a new peace symbol, because the original peace symbol is not a symbol of peace whatsoever. There's some conspiracy theory that the CIA had something to do with this peace symbol being adopted. One thing I do know is that in Germany, an upside down tree of life is used to indicate death on a tombstone. So the tree going the other direction, upwards and expansion, is life, and the tree going upside down is death. So, that really is not something that we should be carrying around and giving any energy to, an upside down tree of life. But what we should do is give our energy to the present moment. And the only way we can really find peace is if our hearts, if every man, woman, and child, if their hearts are at peace. And I think that we need to find our freedom. We need to get out from the manipulation of certain groups, and we need to find our voice. We need to find our voice within that brings us courage, so that we can stand up to those who are manipulating us through our media, through our governments, through our spy agencies, everywhere. We need to stand up, because the many outnumber the few. And we have the ability in this world, in this existence, with the technologies that we have today, we have the ability to rule ourselves. We don't need to be under the influence of people who continue to manipulate us and our history. And we can find presence in this thought, not that we will never get there, but in the idea that we're well on our way. And that's what I believe this project allows us to do, is that This is an energy that you can add to the world that will result in a better outcome. If every single person believed that we could make a difference, then I believe we could make a difference. Science proves that the energy that you create does affect your life, the outcome of your life. So these are called the laws of attraction. But everything else also is pointing to the fact that we might be living in a simulation. And if that's the case, if all of us stepped up to believe in a better future, this is so much fun. These golds are really beautiful for the tree. If each of us stepped up to believe in a better future, we could shift the energy of the world quicker than we could ever imagine. If it's true. If it's true that we live in a simulation, I'm willing to try it. And all we have to do is change our thoughts, which is easier said than done, of course. But art is one of the ways that helps you change your thoughts. It allows you to create new patterns. It opens up your mind and provides flexibility in your thinking. It is therapeutic in every possible way. It truly is creating with God. How's that looking? Ooh, pretty. So I've got this iridescent white. I wonder if I want to do white and gold together, maybe? Let's do a little blue in there. In this. I'm always using too small of a brush to mix my color. Ooh, and this iridescent white is a little bit thick. I'm using a old, I don't know, I think some kind of spring roll or something came in this plastic container. But I'm one of these people who saves everything. I wonder if gold would look good in there or if it'll turn it. Let's just try. Oh, went a little green, but that's okay. I think it'll look good anyway. That'll give us a little more iridescence. So we'll go, oh, we don't want to do that yet though. We gotta, see, you gotta know which order to go in, because if I start painting around this edge with the Fibonacci spirals, then it's gonna all mush together. All right, let's get in here. Let's do, I should have a palette knife. I think I'll try to do a gold. Are you guys seeing this? A rose gold colored lotus up here. So maybe a little too dark, and that brush is pretty little. I'll go in with this one. Let's see. It's fun, you guys. You really should try it. The beauty of using a symbol to get you doing art is that you don't have to think of the idea. You've already got the idea. It's sitting right there in front of you. It represents something very important to the world. Peace. As you create peace, you imagine a better future, because You've given yourself to presence. You're here sitting in the moment. And you're seeking solutions. But you don't have to think about what those solutions are. Most of the problems in the world are probably not yours to solve. This is one of my favorite sayings, and I will probably say it a lot, and I apologize for that, but it's a truth. I can only do as much as I can do, and at this moment, my offering to the world is this project. And I do believe that if we could come together in a way that helps us see that the solutions are out there, now more than ever the solutions are out there. We've got tools at our disposal that we have never had in ever. And I don't know how we get there, but we just have to believe that we do. Okay, so you see how I jumped from the tree and I'm going up to the flower now, and that's because I don't want to mess up the tree and paint around it. I want to wait until that dries a little bit. And we're getting in here with a little gold. I liked that darker red. I'm going to go back to that. I'm trying to get a cool streaky look here. I'll have to go back in, I think, with some highlights. I haven't been making this image that much. I've been using a lot of watercolor pencil, and I have never used watercolor pencil before. It's a brand new, well, it's been a few months now, but it's a new medium, and I really have enjoyed it. It is so relaxing. I'm kind of resistant to the acrylic, which is not my favorite. I would say if I was going to go for a medium, it would be oil, but I haven't worked in oils for years. Oh, it's been way too long. I need to go back. I was gifted by the universe a big supply of acrylics, mostly gouache, and I created this piece that's right down here in gouache. And while it's been a joy, I'm very much looking forward to the day when I get back to my beloved oils. But right now, I'm creating peace. So I'm trying to very carefully cover up every little pencil mark because I don't want to have to go back and do an outline, but I might have to do that anyway. I'm planning to use the suitcase to carry around the stuff from the workshops that we're doing. And we are having a workshop on Sunday at Illuminations in Cedar Rapids. It's a crystal shop, and I think that is a good audience to start with. Oh, I like that a lot. Of course, I'm painting this upside down, so it's a little bit challenging. Too much. Not bad. presence. We were trying to stay on topic about presence. My advice is to be present as often as you can think to be present. Catch yourself in your thoughts and realize when you're not being present. Some of us have never even heard the term, so we have no idea how often we are in our heads. The concept is to start recognizing when you're in your head and get out of your head, because believe it or not, people are going to like you better if you're never in your head. If you're always in the moment with them, exactly the right thing will come out of your mouth. And it'll surprise you. All right, I'm going to finish up this flower, and then I'm going to break this into another live so that we aren't going too long in our lives, and then they can be broke up and you can watch whichever ones you want. I think the gold's going to work. I have to do something different with the base down there, but this rose gold is looking pretty snazzy. That's clearly too bright. I know what I'm doing here. Well, I'm trying to fake it. That gold is mucking it up. It looks okay though. I think we'll be all right. I've got a paper towel here, and the gold is getting a little bit clumpy. I shouldn't paint over it once I've painted it on. It should be just one and done, but I'm not happy with, I'm using a medium I don't have very much experience with, to be honest. This gold, I never painted with gold except maybe to highlight something. I painted a dragon maybe that has gold on it. And I don't believe in overdoing it, so I think I'm gonna just, it's important when you want to paint the flow off of your brush to add enough water to it. Otherwise, it doesn't, like I'm struggling right here. Sometimes you just have to go with it, see what happens. And sometimes you just accept that maybe it wasn't meant to be. Oh no, I got that big goopiness. Water is your enemy. You don't want it dripping down this suitcase. And this suitcase is weird shape, so it's gonna, you know. I think that's just about good enough. Alrighty, we're going to break and then we'll be back for the next bout. Thanks for watching.